Oh my goodness, we're back. Hi, I'm the pint,
And I'm the water, and you're listening to A Cup of Tea.
a podcast about exploring life through each other's eyes.
While sharing your cup of tea, I'll be coffee with you.
Yes, we are drinking coffee again. Oh no, can you hand me my cup of coffee? Yes. Thank you. In case you can't see her, Savito has decided to join A Cup of Tea as well as Pockets in the Universe, so she's right here.
She's the official pet
of the water company. Indeed. Yes.
We're back.
We are. Oh my, it makes me so happy. This is the first thing we're recording in our new quote unquote studio.
Yeah.
Meaning my living room in Canada. In Canada, as some would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has been such a journey.
I know, and that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah. Indeed.
What has this journey been like for you?
It's been so weird. So
the understatement.
Unexpected.
Also understated?
Yeah. So just I guess for a little bit of context. You moved here about a year ago.
Almost a year ago. Yeah. I moved in October. And well, I moved to Quebec, but now I'm in Vancouver.
Yeah. Because that was the plan, like all along. Like we're moving the water company to Vancouver to keep the show running over there.
Exactly.
And it was such a long process for me. At first, it was like almost there. Maybe in April, maybe in May, maybe in July.
Yeah.
And it kept being pushed, indeterminately, until it came to like, okay, so my classes are starting in September, so
gotta get here.
Yeah. And I thought of, okay, so because this is the actually getting here, right? Because I think like we've mentioned in other cups of tea that what the process has been like. In other teacups, yeah. We've mentioned what the process has been like, but this feels more like, okay, so here's what the trip was like.
Right.
So it was like a very long week of getting ready and sorting stuff out. It felt very get my ducks in a row kind of thing.
When did you actually, like, what was the point of like, okay, I because it's the coming here has been that for a long time.
Yeah.
So what was the point of really like, okay, now I buying the ticket, or like now I bought the ticket and I have to get my shit together?
When I first bought I had this big argument with my dad about when I was coming here. Because one day I came home and he was in his tool shed building something. And he was like, oh, how about we go visit your brother on your way to Vancouver? And I said, yeah, that's what I want to do. Like, but I mean, that was my plan originally. And he was just adding the fact that he wanted to go as well.
Okay.
So I said, yeah, sure, of course, let's go. And he said, when do you want to go? I was thinking the last week of August. And I was like, wait, what? No, it cannot be the last week of August, for the love of God, because that gives me no time to know how to like be there, get there, whatever. Life. Yeah.
Oh, wait, I don't know if I'm messing this up, but like, you're already talking, well, okay, I don't know when you're going to talk about the whole, where am I going to live?
Oh, yeah.
Does that come before or after?
That comes after, actually.
Okay. All right. You go on.
Because when we had that discussion, I didn't know. We hadn't found a place. We didn't know anything.
Like it was earlier, before all of our plans that continually change, and it was like this option, and then that option, and then this, and then the thing.
Yeah.
So
I think that can be another like episode on its own, but
we'll get there.
Maybe we'll split this one in two. I don't know. And so he told me that, and I was like, no, what are you talking about? A week before? No, I need to be there. Like, I already did that when I went to Sweden. Getting there the day before classes started, and I would not do it again. It was not terrible. I survived, but, I would rather know how to get to school, because I remember very clearly that on the first day I was I was not super late, but I didn't know how to get to school. I didn't know how long it was going to take me, and I was like, my eyes were glued. My eyes were glued to the screen the entire walk. So I was like, no, I'm not doing that again. And so we had this whole argument about what the whole point of going to Vancouver was. And he was like, you have to study and you need to focus only on that. No jobs, no doing anything else. That's your priority. And I was like, no, that's not my priority.
Right, because studying there was the excuse to get there.
It's the means to the end. Yeah,
it's not the end.
Mm-hmm. So then we talked more about it, and we settled on a couple of weeks before, because I wanted to be here on the 15th of August, which in hindsight is like, thank God I wasn't here on the 15th. I feel so like I've spent so much money, and I know this is the first few weeks and it's settling in and buying a bunch of stuff that you'd never have to buy again or whatever. But I don't know what that would have been like. Anyway, so then we started looking for places, and we finally thought we had the one, which we didn't. And I started scrambling because I was like, okay, so I really need to find a place. Otherwise, where am I gonna land? And my dad was kind of, I mean, you could probably ask the Pine
me
for a couch or something. I was like, yeah, I can.
I just didn't have one.
But yeah,
I didn't have.
The situation is very dire. I don't know how to express that to you.
Yeah, because we were living in an Airbnb, me and the fam, and the kid was already on the couch, so the couch was occupied.
Yeah. So anyway, that got sorted out because I found this place.
Yeah.
Which, if you know the geography of Vancouver, I was by the airport, and my school is in North Vancouver, so it's like an hour and a half bus ride, which holy shit, no. Mm-hmm. But it was a place, that I could get to, and it was nice. It gave me a lot of peace of mind. And at that time, I don't know, maybe I found it around July, August, probably. I don't remember. It must have been soon after we got here, because
the whole month of July was the whole, how are we going to arrange all the people that are here, and how are we going to live together, and the place that we thought that we had, that we didn't have. We can talk about that on my episode. And I feel like that was most of July. So then there was the Malibu place. Malibu is a person, not the place. And so I would think that it was way after that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so I got it, and I had bought my ticket already. And I had been thinking a lot about how my brother went through his moving process and how he left it for the very last day to pack everything. And I think there was a bunch of stuff that he wanted to take with him that he couldn't, and he was very disorganized about it. And so I started making lists of stuff that I wanted to bring and stuff that I wanted to have here, but maybe I couldn't bring on a suitcase. Mm-hmm. So I would have to ship myself stuff. And I kind of started organizing things very slowly in a very out of character way. I feel like I always procrastinate. You know how in school they would always be like, yeah, divide it up into smaller tasks so then it's not overwhelming on the last day before you have to turn in your homework. Oh yeah, I did that. I finally did my homework.
It only took you so many years.
Yeah. And so yeah, I started doing it slowly. I remember packing my first bag, which was the biggest, because I have, like the 3 suitcase kind of thing. So the biggest was full of like sweaters and dresses or like formal stuff that is not something that I would keep wearing while I was still there. But then I thought, okay, I might need this. Like today that I was dressed for mood court in class. Like formally stuff. Mm-hmm. And I packed it all up. And then maybe a couple of weeks later, I moved on to the other 2 suitcases, which were a little trickier because it was just like more of my regular clothes and then computer, camera, iPad, all that sort of equipment and stuff that I don't want to lose. It was such a hassle to move stuff around at the airport, but I'll get to that later. And then during the final, I think I have the final week very much in my mind because I felt like I wanted to see my grandma a couple times and I wanted to hang out with some of my friends. I organized a farewell party that was really nice. And I don't know, it was like a nice way of wrapping it up. Yeah. And I had everything like prepared. I made sure that I didn't forget anything. I had this experience also of when I was in Sweden. I remember needing stuff that I didn't think I would need or have to bring with me, like Post-its. I miss Post-its so much in Sweden. It's such a stupid thing, maybe.
Oh no, I love them.
I remember going to an Office Depot and trying to buy them, but they didn't have them. And then I ended up without Post-its for the semester. I had some of my notebook. I just used those, but yeah, and like especially for like this stuff that we have organized. Like I have the Pine and Water Company notebook, and then I have the like other pocket stuff laying around elsewhere. So I needed to be like very organized with everything that we need and that we're using. So that was like in the box to be shipped afterwards and everything. And so I felt like I had a better grasp of what I needed to bring with me, and that was dealt with. So yeah, everything was good. Everything was great. The last week, I remember that when I bought my ticket, I know that I told you, and it's like, oh my God, it's finally happening. And then I had this widget on my phone that was counting down the days for the trip. Yeah, but it was counting down the days for the trip to LA. So, I mean, it was nice anyway. Yeah. It was just like a week-ish ahead of the getting to Vancouver. Yeah, so I got everything together. During that last week, actually, my uncle had to fly in from Houston because my grandma started feeling sick. And my dad was like, oh, she's feeling bad because you're leaving. And everybody kept saying that. And she's like, I accept it. It's fine. I know that she's going to go. So, yeah, it was kind of also cool that I saw him before seeing him again in his house.
I'm like, just like right now that you said that, I'm just realizing that, neither you or your brother are at the house.
Yeah.
It like just clicked. Is your dad around?
Yeah.
More than he used to?
Just like
or
the
like
usual amount.
So your grandma is like a lonery?
Yeah.
That's weird.
I mean, yeah, she is. Yeah, the house is more emptier. There's this lady that now helps her move around and stuff, and yeah, so she's not a nurse, but she like helps her with stuff. So yeah, that's kind of thing. So my trip went like this. It was I was gonna fly from Querétaro to Houston, stay there one day, then fly from Houston to LA to visit my brother, stay with him for like a week, and then get here on Monday. And I remember what you said when you talked about like the traveling and the going back to the airport and it being exciting and it being fun.
Oh yeah,
airports. And I was feeling that. I was like, oh my god, traveling, yeah, again. But there was a lot of mixed feelings, actually. I was very kind of like on hold, you know? I felt, and I remember because we got to the airport kind of early, because the day before my dad dropped my uncle off, and he was like, oh, there was this huge line for security, and because you do have to check your bags, then I don't know how long that's gonna go, because there was this long ass line for American Airlines. I mean, I was flying United, but that was very like easy and streamlined, and I was the only person on it. I went in, checked my bags, went away, happy camper. So my dad was like, let's just make sure that there's no lines, or if there's lines, that you can get through and everything's gonna be fine, blah, blah, blah. So we got to the airport, and we were there, and we were just like waiting for a bit. And so I was just like, this is kind of sad. I mean, I don't, and it felt, very sweet at this moment where I had to fill something out. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it was, but I thought I had a pen with me, and I probably did in one of my 1,000 bags, but I couldn't find one. And so my dad gave me his, and he was like, no, you can keep it. Mm-hmm. I was like, which, I mean, I have like, all my pens he's given me, but yeah, this one was like, it's his. And I don't know. Yeah. And then, I had to board, so we went upstairs to the security line and everything, and he was like, be careful. You know?
You're dead.
Yeah. Meant a few words, but yeah. And then I left, and it was just, it didn't feel as exciting or as like joyful as other trips have been.
What do you think that was?
I guess it's just the enormity of it. Or
it is very enormous.
Yeah. So I kind of felt like a zombie, not like a zombie, but it was a very emotional trip. And then when I was actually like getting to the airport, when I landed and everything, I was like, oh yes, traveling, awesome, I love this. I missed it so much, except for the long ass hour I spent in immigration when I landed in Houston. It was horrible. I mean, it was nice. Kind of, there's in the back of my mind there was this like Jiminy Cricket saying, "Oh my god, put your face mask on," and I think I did have it on, but there were so many people in the line. Yeah. And I would say half of them, the very European-looking ones, didn't have a mask on. Every Asian person I saw had a mask on. It was kind of funny how divided it was of who had a mask on and who didn't. But it was nice, like, seeing people again, And it was, like, a funny experience. And I even kind of documented the trip and the quirky things that I think when you stop seeing people like in the pandemic way, when like public gatherings or being out in public is not a thing anymore, you miss those funny things about watching people. And there was this girl on the line in front of me, like there was a family in front of me, and I'm pretty sure that girl picked her outfit like perfectly, She was wearing this like very bright pink t-shirt with sequined skirt and like also like shimmery boots, and like she was totally enjoying her outfit. That's so cute.
That is very cute.
And then I think I actually even wrote them down so that I would remember and I could tell you all about it.
Very prepared of you.
Yes, I wanted to like, to relish in the whole people watching thing. Oh, there was this girl I noticed because there was like baby bag thing. There's a name for that. Anyway, the bag that moms carry around with baby stuff. That's it.
Bag?
Yes. And I laughed, and I told my I sent I don't know if I sent a photo of the bag to my cousin, but I said, "Look, this is a Game of Thrones baby," because her name was Arya.
Oh.
And then there was this guy who looked so much like Benedict Cumberbatch, but blonde. Like that movie. There's a movie about, I don't know if it's not Edward Snowden, but it's like one of those things where he's blonde. That was his clone. Yeah, and then I'll get to another one that I had later. That was also kind of shocking. So yeah, I got to Houston. My aunt picked me up, and that was such a nice way to start the trip. But it was kind of funny in the end. So I got to Houston, and my aunt, who was super hospitalaria, you know, like she's very welcoming.
Yeah.
So I got to her house. She showed it to me because it was a new house that they just moved into. And she put me in the guest room, which was so nice. Like, she furnished it very prettily. And it's like a hotel. Because she put chocolates and the night table for me and a bottle of water, like a couple bottles of water.
That is so cute.
And yeah, she's so nice. And she took me out for sushi when I got there. We chatted. Then she was like, "Oh, your uncle's coming back. We need to go have dinner." We went for dinner. They were like, "You can order whatever you want." And I tried this. I think it was called Springtime cocktail. It was really good. It was like raspberry thyme and some.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. It was really good. It was so nice. It was a very, very nice trip. Because then the next morning she took me out for brunch at this nice place that you would have liked. And then she drove me to the airport to go to Los Angeles. And I described this scene to my dad and my grandma, and they were laughing because, I mean, we understand the circumstance. We know why it happened, but it's just still kind of funny. Like, I feel like, and I told them, I feel like I went from this 5-star hotel with my aunt to one of those not even a 1-star motels where there are no sheets on the bed.
Is that when you went to see your brother?
Yes, I got there, and he put me up on what used to be his bedroom because one of his roommates just moved out and he took his bedroom. So he was like, "Oh yeah, so here's your room," which was my room. There's nothing here. I mean, you know, there's the bed and there's a closet. I guess if you need anything, I don't know what you could need, but anyway. And the sheets were, I don't remember if they were on the floor or on the bed, but not made. Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, great. Look at that welcoming."
Yeah, very welcoming.
So it like that hit me, that lack of a welcoming kind of. Not that I think he did it on purpose, but it was not like my aunt was like, "Oh my god, it's so nice to have you here. Welcome," you know?
I mean, yeah, like there's a big difference between like your aunt and your brother.
My brother who was barely making it on his own. Yeah. So because he's having a hard time. So it's not like I resented him for it, but it just like hit me in the moment. And I said, "So are these your roommate's sheets?" And he's like, "Yeah, they were his. So I don't know. You can wash them if you want." Yes, I will wash them because I don't know who this dude is.
Cody.
Yeah. So it was very, very different. But then the overall trip was really nice, and it ended up being one of the best times I've had with my brother, because we went to the Griffith Observatory. We went to Malibu.
The actual place.
Yeah, the actual place.
Not the person.
We went to Santa Barbara to go whale watching, which was awesome. It was something that I really wanted to do. He was not that excited about it. But in the end, he really liked it as well. It was recommended by Ear Biscuits, by this episode of Ear Biscuits where Red talks about whale watching in Santa Barbara as well. And we went to Universal, which was so much fun.
Okay.
So, yeah, we did a lot of stuff together. It was really fun. I tried helping him out too. So I washed my sheets on the first day.
Of course.
And then there's a caveat. The dryer doesn't dry. I'm like, what do you mean the dryer doesn't dry? Yeah, I mean, you can put your stuff in there, but you'll have to press the button 4 times for it to be fully dry because it doesn't dry properly on the one cycle. You have to
run the cycle first.
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck is that about? I was like, yeah, I've told them, but it takes a very long time for them to fix it, so you need just push it 4 times. I mean, okay. I ended up buying him one of those hanger thingies, in Target. I don't know, it was just really fun and really nice and
very adorable.
In another, again, this recurring theme of kind of saying goodbye to my family. And when he was driving me to the airport, I started feeling like I was about to cry. And it reminded me of when I was little and my cousins would visit us, or we would go visit them. And I always cried whenever we said goodbye.
You did?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it felt very much like that. And when we were at the airport, I was trying so hard not to cry. And when we were finally at the airport, I was like, okay,
and then you cried?
And then I cried. Yeah, no, we got out of the car. He helped me with my bags and everything. And we were hugging, and he was like, so, thank you for coming. And I was like...
it's just a reflection of what you're saying.
Sobbing.
But you cried, yes.
Yeah, sobbing. Uncontrollably. Yeah, I cried. And I kept even crying as I walked down the airport very dramatically.
It sounds like it. It sounds very movie.
Yeah, it felt very surreal. But it was so nice.
Yeah. Look at you guys being nice to each other.
Yeah. And then I still had that feeling of it's not quite. Oh, let me get back to the Universal thing. That we were in Universal and everything, and I was so shocked by this couple that were outright yelling at each other in the middle of the park. I mean, I don't want to. Not that anybody's gonna know who I'm talking about, right? But it was this lady. So it was a couple who looked. They spoke English.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know exactly where they're from. Maybe they're British. Maybe they were British. But some kind of Arab descent. Because she was saying to him that he was being such an asshole, during their trip, and she had paid for it, and now he wanted to control everything. So, I don't know, I was just fascinated by the exchange, because she was very, very, very angry and yelling, and the poor kids that were, walking around with them.
They had, their kids?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like, oh, man. Oh. That's horrible. I mean, I understand what she's saying. The husband was trying to pretend like he had paid for the trip and he had done everything when it was her that did it, I don't know. Anyway. Interesting people watching.
Yeah. People watching.
Yeah, so I got to the airport. He dropped me off. I kept crying as I went through security. I got to my to the gate, and thank God this was right outside security, because on the flight from Houston to LA, I had to run the entire airport. They were fixing the E-terminal. So my aunt had to drop me off at C-terminal, so I had to walk the whole thing. And I was already running a bit late. And I don't think I had ever run at an airport until that point, where I was like, I need to make it because otherwise I'm going to miss my flight. And oh my God, no. know. And then I got there, and the flight gets delayed by 2 hours. Yeah.
I mean, I guess better than missing your flight.
Yeah, that is true. So yeah, then I got here, and you picked me up. Well, I had to wait at immigration for them to give me my study permit.
Forever.
Yeah. Oh my god, the process. I felt so. I got there. I went through the like regular immigration stuff, and then they move you. They tell you, okay, you need to go to this office over there.
Because you're a student.
And then I thought, okay, I don't know if I need to get my bags before that or after or how this goes. And so I just took them out of the carousel, put them in a cart. I went towards the immigration thing, and I overheard the like officer telling some people that they needed to put their bags at like the back of the lane, the aisle, or whatever. And so I just did that, and I came back, and I thought, okay, there doesn't seem to be anyone in line. I think this is going to be pretty quickly. It was not. Yeah. Spoiler alert. So I got there, and there were these, like, long rows of chairs, like maybe 20 chairs, and then it's like maybe 4 lines of chairs. And these kind of looks like a bank. It gave me that bank vibe with maybe 10 people behind their counters. Nobody seemed to be doing anything.
Oh, they weren't like with people?
No, they weren't with people.
Oh.
They were just sitting in front of a computer, chatting with each other. And I was just like,
not looking.
What is this? Why are you not doing it? I mean, maybe you were doing something, but why does it look like you're not doing anything? And then this mean ass girl, because she was like our age, you know, she's like, everybody move to this end of the line. She's just like, holy shit, you don't want to piss her off. And yeah, everybody stands up from their seat and moves, like scooches over to the other side of the room. And I heard they give you this number. So I was 448. And I kept hearing like 450, 449, 432, 397. Yeah, like randomly. And I was like, why is this so random? Like, why aren't they in order? I want mine. And you kept texting me like, are you done? Are you usually done? Like, no. Yeah, oh my god, no.
Vicha and I were just like, where is she? We just kept looking to see if people would come. We were like, where is she?
And I was trying, and I also started getting worried because I saw all these people that had like manila envelopes or like letter-sized somethings with paper, and I just had like, and I didn't even have my passport because they had taken it, so I just had this like wallet-sized thing with, I think it was just my vaccination record and something else. I was like, what if they ask me for something and I don't have it? What is this? Why do all these people have these papers that I don't have? And then I stood up and asked the lady. I was like, hey, I'm number 448. Are you gonna please call my name? She's like, oh yeah, hang it tight. Almost there. Okay. And then she finally called me, and I picked it up, and I just skedaddled out of there. And then I found you outside. I was like, hi.
Yay, finally.
Yeah. And that was also still very overwhelming. You know, like...
What was?
Like, the whole process felt so intense. And then getting here was not as joyful and exciting as I had expected it to be. Like, it was not jumping of like joy. Yeah. And then you drove me to the apartment, which, as stated before, was very far from my school. It was also, we must note, a basement apartment, which my aunt, I had told her about it, and she was very concerned about the amount of light I was going to get. Very planned way. Like,
we are basically
she said, no, make sure that there's enough light so that you don't get seasonal depression or anything, you know? And I said, no.
I mean, it wasn't a bad place.
No, it wasn't. Like, objectively, no. It was not terrible. It's in a very good location. It's very close to a bus station. I mean, there's a bus stop, like, right around the corner.
Plus, it wasn't ugly.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty place. It's a pretty area. My landlord was also really nice. He was
like the actual landlord or like the guy?
Like the guy. Yeah, the guy that was renting it out to me. He was really nice. He was also Mexican. And I don't know, it was like a very easy to talk to person.
He was really nice. I met him.
Yeah, kind of like Malibu, you know. He was one of those very welcoming people that made it feel nice. But it still didn't feel right. It was horrible. And I sort of had this expectation of what it might be like.
Okay.
Because, I thought, all right, so this is what this was like in Sweden. So I got there. It was horrible for 5 minutes. Then I had Wi-Fi and I could talk to people and I could say that I was there. And the room was weird and I didn't know my roommate because she was not there. But my very clear memory of it is at the next day when I was walking back from school after the orientation kickoff, I remember very clearly that I thought, okay, this day was horrible and the day before was also very weird, but this is going to be awesome. And it's going to go by so quickly, which it did.
And it ended up being awesome.
Yeah, it ended up being awesome. But here, I didn't think that period of adjustment would be as long as it's been. Yeah. You know, and as tough.
What do you think it's made it like that?
I don't know. I mean,
because we were like talking about it a little bit the other day when we went to get coffee and we were having a meeting and stuff as we do. Because, you know, like I'll talk about it later, but I've also, it's this thing of like, I thought I had a realistic expectation of what it would be. And
I don't know.
It has been like 10 times worse.
Jinx. Yeah.
So it's just like, why? What is it? Is it like that we have this sort of weight of, oh, we're moving to this country rather than, oh, I'm studying here for like a semester or a year or like.
As I cried in my room in that first day, there was so much crying. I had to call my therapist and be like, "What? I don't know what's going on. I feel miserable. This is horrible. I want to not go back home. I want to go to LA with my brother." and then I started thinking of. I also saw that this girl that was in school with me,
like back home.
Yeah, she had gotten into USC. And I was like, see, that's what I should be doing. Why am I here? What if this is the wrong place? What if it doesn't work out and I don't know anybody? And like, I think when you pick me up from the airport and then you drop me off.
And I had to go.
And then I had to go and I was like, what am I going to do? You know?
Felt lonely.
Yeah. And then I went to the supermarket that night and I was video calling with my brother and that gave me like, it helped me settle a little bit. But yeah, the whole thing, I think maybe it is that there's no turning back. I mean, there is, but it does feel like more open. It's not like, oh, it's just 6 months, you know, or it's just this one thing that I have to do, and then So the high degree of uncertainty, I think, adds a lot of the fear and maybe to the degree of loneliness as well. So yeah, when people ask me, how's it been? I would be like, oh, it's been a freaking roller coaster. You have no idea.
Yeah.
There's been more downs than ups. Well, maybe
getting better.
It's for sure. It is getting better. Yeah.
I feel like there's this aura of moving to Canada, and like it's surrounded by this cloak of happiness and joy, and it's like the best thing ever. And I
like the dream come true.
Yeah,
it's gonna be wonderful. You're gonna love it.
And then, like I said, 10 times worse than you thought it would be.
Yeah. It's I mean, it's kind of funny because when I was in Houston, my uncle and I were talking about how, very much in a similar way to my brother, he moved. He left his house and he moved alone to the US to keep studying medicine, and he spent a big chunk of time on his own, trying to get a job, getting to school, and it was very hard for him as well. I mean, and eventually, of course, he made it, and now he's doing great, and his family's all over there, and it worked out nicely. And he kind of saw himself in my brother. I was like, oh, I remember what that was like, and kind of, I think telling it a little bit to me of like, yeah, you're starting out, new place, so it's not easy. It's very, I don't think I can understate how hard it is of trying to get a job, or being in a whole new place with very different people than you. The cultural adjustment, that cultural adjustment thing, I thought I had it down.
Right?
Yeah. It's like, I'm going to nail this. I already know. I even know the theory behind it because I remember studying in school. Canadians are not so different, so it's going to be fine.
And then it hits you in a way that you didn't expect it to hit you.
It does. So it's been, for sure, not at all what I would have thought it was going to be. It's been very scary, very lonely, very uncertain, not as exciting. Like, not that there's no potential. I mean, I feel like there's so much we can do.
Potential. Yeah. That's the thing that I'm kind of like holding on to.
Yeah.
And like every person that has talked to me or that I've asked about moving here, everybody's like, it's very difficult at first, but it's so worth it. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, all right, like, I'll believe you. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'll keep going.
See how that plays out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I do, and I keep thinking of the stuff that we want to do and like the classes that I'm taking that help us build a pine and water company, and I feel like it's also a good environment, even though I had my doubts because there was this moment where I was like, I mean, Vancouver, yeah, Hollywood at the north, sure, but this is so VFX focused. And I want to do live action. So maybe, LA is still the answer. I don't know. Anyway, so
maybe later we'll move to LA.
Yeah. That'd be so much fun, though.
Later.
I'm voting for LA. And it's just, I'm trying to take it out one day at a time. Time is going by so slowly, which has been very interesting because during the pandemic, I feel like days start to blur together because they're all very similar, and here every day still feels very different. So that has been a thing that I've noticed, that time goes by slowly.
I feel that too. Like time, I feel like the day is endless. It takes forever.
And ironically, if you do get out of the house, you lose the entire day.
It's so
Which
weird.
we were saying the other day, it's insane.
Yeah, it is crazy.
The Bicho was saying to me that, oh no, but you can compartmentalize your day and do something in the morning and something in the afternoon and then something at night. And I was like, what are you talking about? No. Yeah. I mean, maybe I can kind of think that I go to school in the morning and they do something else in the afternoon. Sure. Yeah. But I don't know.
But if you have to do something and you need to go out and you need to like take a train and take a bus and do something, especially if it's like government and paperwork and appointments. There's such a thing. It's such a thing. I feel like in Mexico, we're so fast paced. Everything just you just go, you do it, you think. Even though, living in Mexico, you still have lines and you're still complaining about lines, but it's like, I'll have an appointment tomorrow. I'll have an appointment the next day. Yeah. I'll call the bank on Saturday.
It's like, it was such a shock to me that I went to the bank to open a bank account. And they're like, sure, we'll make an appointment for you for when do you want it? Next week? I was like, what? What do you mean they need an appointment to open an account? I thought I could just like come here and do it. No, you have to go make an appointment.
Yeah, and like the DMV and the licensing and like I have an appointment for my road test this week, but if I fail or miss or whatever happens, then the next available appointment is in January.
What?
Yes,
I did not know.
Yes, and this appointment on Thursday, they like gave it to me as a special occasion. But like,
oh fuck,
they are scheduling appointments in January.
Jesus,
it's like what?
No, that's
They're
horrible.
Crazy. I can't. I'm just like, it makes it so I understand that difference. Like my perception is so interesting when it comes to like Mexico is so fast paced when it comes to paperwork and things, and you can get things done so fast. And it really amazes me I don't know what to call it, but this like, it's just going to take forever and you have to deal with it. You have to be
the real life version of the DMV slots from Zootopia.
Yes, but like everybody is not okay with it. Like everybody hates it, I guess, but it's just the way it is. And you just deal and things take forever, and that's just how people live their lives.
No.
And I wonder what that does as a culture.
Which part?
Well, the fact that
the complacency?
I feel like in Mexico you can take shortcuts and get around and get things done.
Yeah.
Through ill means sometimes. Mm-hmm. And Canada is such a strict parent. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, no. And there's no other way. They just have to deal.
Yeah.
So I feel like, does it make people more resilient?
Maybe that's why they're such tough cookies here.
Maybe. I'm intrigued. I'll ask a sociologist or something.
Yeah. So that's what the trip has been like.
Okay, so how are you feeling now, though?
I mean,
you started school. Because you moved.
I did. Yeah, by the way, I moved. Thank God. On the maybe third day. I mean, I got
basement apartment.
I got here on Monday evening
after my birthday. She was in.
Yes.
How did she? But she got me that very beautiful plant as a birthday present, and I'm very happy about it. She's very cute.
I got here on Monday. On Thursday, I went to school to just gauge how long it would take me, how many buses I would need to take.
And you took like 3 or 4.
Yeah. And then on one of those bus rides, I got this email from the residents at school that said, "We have an offer for you." And I was like, oh my God, yes. And I called my dad and I said, hey, I got this. They are telling me to move in on Tuesday. I need to like confirm my offer, whatever, and then I can move. And he was like, all right, let me check. And then like we'll see but yeah, probably yes. Because also on maybe the second day of being here, I called him when I mean, I was very, again, sad. My dad. I called you.
Yes.
Then I called my grandma. Then I called my dad. And I told my dad about the living arrangement because he didn't know that I was at the basement.
He didn't know?
No.
What did he think that you were coming to?
He thought I was coming to the house. Yeah.
Wow.
You'll hear more about it in the next episode. Yeah.
Did you tell him all about it or no?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my goodness. So what did he say?
He was
more
very
context
chill
on the
about
next
it.
episode, but like
yes.
what?
He was very chill about it. Surprisingly chill. Yeah.
We were not chill.
No, we were freaking out.
Anyways.
He was so chill about it. He was like, it's fine, don't worry about it.
Do you think he was trying to like...
Yeah. Because then afterwards, we hung up the phone. He talked to Gina, his friend, and I had told her. So she knew. And they talked and everything. And so he called me back and he was like, hey.
Are you okay?
No, it was not an are you okay? It was more like, you can tell me if you have a problem. And and it's fine. And if you think that this is not the right thing and you want to come back or if you want to do something else, then that's also perfectly fine. Like if you mess up or if you lose money or if you do whatever, it's gonna be fine. Honestly. And I don't know where I was going with this, but yeah, it was very
because we're talking about how you moved, so you
very reassuring. Yeah. So yeah.
Oh, then because you told him about the living arrangement.
Right, the living room. So I told him about the living room too, and so he saw after he told me, like he saw that I was miserable at the basement. So he goes, yeah, sure, we'll get this sorted out so you can move there. And so I accepted the thing on Friday
to move into the school residency.
Then Saturday, I got my shit together, like started packing some of the stuff that I had started to unpack.
The actual moving of your stuff to the thing.
You can find that on Instagram or something.
Yeah, I think so. It was fun. It was a lot of stuff, the suitcases and many bus rides and some Hamilton soundtrack in the back. Yeah. It was fun. It was cool. Yeah. We did it.
We did. If you have any idea what it's like to move 3 suitcases, some pillows, and a bag of IKEA stuff.
IKEA bag,
around the whole city, you can take a look at that. So yeah, I finally made it to school, to the residence. It was massively better. I mean, I have a roommate, which, I feel very ambivalent towards the roommate situation. I don't like the idea of not being alone, but I don't like the lack of privacy.
Yeah.
Like, if I had my own room, it'd be better. But it's fine.
You'll get used to it.
Yeah. I was listening to the roommate horror stories episode of Baskets, and I was laughing so hard.
I still haven't listened to it.
Yeah. So things have been.
That's what I thought.
Siri,
what are you talking about? So yeah, it's been looking up for sure. And I also felt really good after we had coffee yesterday. Yesterday.
Yeah.
Jinx. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like even a cup of tea is kind of like this. I feel like we hadn't talked
checked in?
Yeah, in a while. So that was also nice. So yeah, it's been better for sure.
Yeah. Do you feel like things are looking up?
Yeah, and also, I do feel that part of that uncertainty and that being scared is of there's all these things that I want to be doing and I feel like I'm not doing them right now. So it takes me back to like maybe a year ago of scrambling to try to do one of those things. And so because they're not happening, I like get distracted by other stuff. I'm like, oh, find a job, find something else to do, get this project going, blah, 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 blah. So I need to, it's been like an exercise in recentering my focus.
Definitely. I hear that.
So,
but I'm very happy that we are recording again.
Yeah.
You know, we're doing the thing that we said that we were going to do.
Yeah.
We're in Vancouver. We are filming. We have a place to live.
Oh, yeah.
Which,
it does a lot for you.
It does a lot for you, definitely. And, you know, things are happening. Things are looking better. We had a very nice day the other day with the bicha, and you guys made pan de muerto, and that was so cute. Yeah, and the pan de muerto was really good.
We already know how to fix the recipe to make it slightly better.
Look at that. Look at that. So, you know, I said to you at some point, the whole, like, I'm so glad you're here because it gives me a sense of normalcy. And it does, you know, you're bringing a part of home here, because now we're like going to get coffee, we are having meetings, we are working on our company, we are recording things. And it's like that kind of light at the end of the tunnel in a good way, not in a we're gonna die way.
I hope not.
But like hope, you know, like
it's hopeful.
It feels good. It's fresh. It's
Yeah, it is. So much better. And, you know, I was so curious the other day about, I mean, there probably is already somebody that did this of like a survivor's guide to moving to Vancouver. I mean, or moving to Canada in general. Yeah, because I think it'd be handy, you know, to give to somebody that wants to do this stuff.
I would definitely, you know, I in the several projects that we got in the back burner, my whole vlog thing, there is a space in there for a vlog about talking about this, because before coming here, when I would talk to friends and they're like so excited and they're like, how are you doing it and how do you do it? Because I want to do it. And like I said, there's this aura of how amazing and how good and how, but there's no real warning about the difficulties of it, the cultural differences. Because even if it's people that have been to Canada before, like I have, like you have, it does not compare. It does not prepare you for the mental, emotional, and probably physical, depending on how you do it, why you do it, and what happens to you. How demanding it really is, and we should do that. We're gonna do that. So,
my recommendation is don't come to Canada. I'm just kidding. No, that's not my recommendation.
But if you do, definitely come as a student. That's the best thing you can do for yourself.
That's the smart way of doing it. No, I will recommend something that gave me a lot of comfort. So, as we have discussed, I've been comfort shopping this entire month, basically.
We have.
And
what is this very nice pillow that I got? It makes me so happy. Like, it makes me so happy. It's just a pillow, but it really gives me life.
No, exactly. That's the thing. You know, so one of the first things that gave me comfort was going to IKEA and finding the exact same blanket that I have back home.
Oh, that's cute.
That's cute. Yeah. But no, I bought, when we went to Marshall, no, it was not Marshall.
Winners.
Yeah, Winners.
We're big fans.
The first day, I got, and I'd never gotten bamboo towels.
From Winners, by the way. Not sponsored, but like, we love it.
Not sponsored, but sponsor us.
Yeah.
I got a pack of bamboo towels.
Yeah.
And I never gotten them. Like, I don't know, my grandma always used to buy that kind of stuff. And so I had never had the chance. And they're so soft. And the best part of it is, they dry right away. You don't need to like wash them and do all that nonsense to make them work. No, they were perfect on the very first day. So I would recommend bamboo towels.
Yeah. What can I recommend? I mean, I think my recommendation, more than a thing, can be this. It's a psychological thing of. I know that if we're spending our money on a bunch of shit, it can seem like, oh, you're just wasting your money. You're not being responsible. You're, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But in all honesty,
balling
there's a purposeful way to do it where you're looking, like, of course, don't like tire la casa por la ventana kind of thing, where it's what's a English way?
I think it's a free balling thing, but I need to
okay,
like look it up now because I don't know that I maybe said something stupid.
So like, don't go over the thing in your spending, but I just want to say that it's okay to look for things that are pretty and look for things that make you happy when you've been through a really hard time. You know,
I said something so different from what I was thinking.
Free balling?
Yeah.
What does it say?
According to the Urban Dictionary, it's the act of wearing pants without underwear, allowing your balls to hang freely. I mean, we don't have balls, but I mean, I guess it conveys maybe the not exactly. No, it's more like just squandering money, basically.
Yeah, sure. Okay, good thing you checked.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's that thing of like, oh, it can seem like you're wasting it or you're being irresponsible, but I feel like it's a little bit of self-care.
Yeah.
Especially after having such rough experiences, it can be actually traumatic, which I've come to terms with. And like, again, don't overdo it, but it's okay to sort of find comfort in things, beautiful things.
And that was, the trauma thing was also something that came up for me, because when I was crying during those first 3 or 4 days, maybe, my therapist was like, you should figure out why you are crying. What are you crying for? What you are mourning. What are you mourning? Mourning. Sounds like I'm saying morning.
Yeah.
Morning. I don't know.
Anyway,
why are you grieving?
There you go.
And I hadn't thought about it that way. Like,
did you figure it out?
Not quite. I mean, yeah, maybe, but not 100% yet. So yeah, it's like also a grieving process, and if buying, I don't know, a plant or a desk or sheets or a towel or whatever.
Oh, my plant makes me very happy, and this pillow makes me very happy, and having nice things around the house. Like, for example, it's this thing with Pablo where he's like, we don't need these things. We just need like what gets us by. You know, and he's very practical about it. And I'm more like, no, like, I want pretty things around the house. I want nice things, because beauty, I feel like we've come to a moment in culture and life where beautiful things are seen as wasteful and frivolous, but we forget that as human beings, we appreciate beauty, and beauty is important to our psyche. So I'm like, yes, beautiful pillow, I love you. Yeah. So my rec would be to like allow yourself to look for something pretty that comforts you and not judge yourself for it.
Yes. Awesome.
All right.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Thanks for sharing a cup of tea with us.
To watch more episodes of A Cup of Tea, click the link on the right.
If you want to watch Pockets in the Universe, go to the playlist on the left.